okay? Now, in a real scenario, he's not gonna have his gi all nice and tucked in because, you know, unless we're just starting here, okay? So a lot of times the gi's like this just because you've been actually grappling and doing jiu-jitsu to get to this point, okay? So you have a couple of lapels. You have his lapel, far lapel, near lapel. Whenever you say near, it's whatever's closest to your body. You had your right lapel, your left lapel, the one that's near the head, near the legs, okay? So first thing I just wanted to show you something, okay, is the following before we even get to the bib choke, okay? One of the things that I keep reminding myself to do is when you get a crossface, okay, and you should always hold the lapel where they can't kind of see the tips because it's easier to grab here, okay? So right here, I'm just gonna get a crossface on Aaron right here. As my left hand, crossface hand, is making contact with the shoulder, I'm gonna loop it over his neck, and now I basically have a boss grip. Now, if I did this to you, Aaron, what would you do? Or you would probably, yes, yes. Okay, and now you have an S mount. Okay, all right, which is part of a choke. Let me ease up on my right here. All right, now from here, look, I can switch my hands, and I can go ahead and potentially take an arm. Okay, so that's like a cross face lapel boss grip. Okay, as we're here, you're here, and look what I'm doing here. I just loop it, bring it to the elbow. I'm just gonna roll onto him. If I can just lay on him, so you can make him tap. From here, maybe if I want to get him to turn. Okay, so that's one example. That's your lapel. One. Peter, come here. Thank you. Now, I'm going to use his lapel. So right here, okay, I have my cross face. I'm going to kind of put pressure on his face, and I'm going to take his lapel, and I'm going to feed it to my hand right here. I'm not going to pull it, okay? Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply some pressure with more so my shoulder, as my right hand defends the underhook, because I don't want to give him the underhook here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my hand back right about here, as Jason calls this the bib choke, okay? I'm going to grab thumb, fist down, and then I'm going to pull his head up and drive it down. Here, what I think is good to do is you pull him up and you drive it down. And it's basically like a thrusting lapel choke, okay? Where you have a choke where you can go from closed guard. I don't know if you've ever seen that. You mean your girl? I wouldn't advise you to do this because you expose your arms, but you here, as you stand up here, you can get a thrusting lapel right here. It's a good way to here, or get them to open up the guard, and then you can move through. So that's thrust and lapel. So this is very similar, except your right hand is a fist, and you're gonna go down under your wrist, okay? So you're here, give him some pressure. I'm gonna roll on the left hip, grab his near lapel here, and I'm just gonna feed it through without pulling here. Grab the tip, and then your right hand, be ready right here, but you need to create space between your left hand and your right hand. As I slide up, so my left foot can come up, right about here. As I go here underneath, and I'm gonna pull his head. My right knuckle, my top of my right hand, should be connected with my left forearm. As I pick him up, and I drive it forward, and lean forward, okay?
Can you do it on your belly?
You could, but you don't need to. Because what I want to do is, you could, it just here, I feel like I have more pressure, because I want to pull his head off the mat, and I want to drive forward with my right. So I'm pulling, but I'm not pulling like a row, like a bicep. I'm using my whole body just to pull, okay? As I'm driving this forward, okay? Mike, let me borrow you. You are. Open the gate. You just gotta make sure that this is all pulled out far enough. So the way that you make sure that this is pulled out far enough, okay, is you roll the hips and you walk around the head, and then you walk back around the head. You feed this thing right here. Give him a little bit of pressure here as your right knee comes here and your left hand goes all the way back, right where it's about the bib. Pull his head, punch it through, and I'm gonna pull his head this way as I pull, because here you have that contour. You wanna remove it into just basically the inside part of your wrist, okay? So what we're gonna do is, bottom person is just gonna start out side control, just for you guys to get the feeling. You're gonna pull out that near lapel. You're gonna feed it to your left hand. Gonna get a nice grip. You're gonna make a bib. Jason calls it the bib. Right about at the bottom of that bib, where you grab, hold that elbow, and shoot it through. But what I like to do is, he was on his knees, and he was leaning this way, okay? You could do it that way. I just don't care for the arms being compromised, so I'd rather be here so you can pull and drive forward. All right, let's try it. So you're just gonna start that way. 1, 2, 3. Okay.